What's up guys, it's Instinct here, and today I'll be showing you guys how to make a 3D banner in Cinema 4D and Photoshop. If you could hit 10 likes on this video, that'd be absolutely insane, so go ahead and hit the like button and let's start the video. So what you guys want to do is you guys want to open up Cinema 4D. Now once you open up Cinema 4D, go ahead and check the description. I will link the Lightroom, the material pack, the plugins, and the font for everything I use in this video. So if you guys don't have that, go ahead and get it and we can get started. So what you guys want to do is you guys want to click MoGraph and click Mo Text. This will make your text layer. So once you have your text layer, you can change the text to your name. So for me, I'm just going to use name for an example. And yeah, so once you have done this, go ahead and change the font. To do that, all you have to do is click this bar and then choose your font. So for me, I'm just going to be using Primetime. Now for the depth, I usually set it at 60 centimeters. So go ahead and change that to 60 centimeters. And from here, go ahead and click caps, click fill cap, and then set this one to fill cap as well. Once you have done that, go ahead and change the radius to 1 centimeter on both of them. Change that one to 1 centimeter and change this one to 1 centimeter. Once you have this, you're pretty much set for the text, but I'm just going to go ahead and center it just to make the next step a little bit easier. So once you have centered it, basically, go ahead and select the layer and click Ctrl or Command C depending on if you're on Windows or Mac, and then hit Ctrl or Command V and it will paste it. Alright, so once you have duplicated your text layer, go ahead and go to Atom Array. Just go ahead and click this little icon and get an atom array and it will make one. So once you have atom array, go ahead and just drag your text layer and to atom array and make sure the arrow is pointing down when you do this and just drop. Once you have done that, you should see something like this. So once you see this, go ahead and just click on atom array and this should appear. Now if you do not see this, then if you don't see object, just go ahead and click object and change the cylinder radius and the sphere radius to 1 centimeter. So let me just do that and then change this one to 1 centimeter. Once you have done that, what it does is it sets this little outline around it. So if I move the original text away, you can see that there is the outline. So that's what that does. I'm just gonna hit Ctrl Z to put it back on how it was. So yeah, another thing you can do is check single elements and it'll make it look like this. So you can do that if you want, but this will make your PC lag a ton. So if you're gonna do that, I highly suggest you checking that at the very end once you are finished with everything. But I'm just gonna uncheck it for now and check it back later. So once you are here, go ahead and scroll down till you see your materials. Once you see your materials here, go ahead and find one you like and just drag it onto your text. So for me, I'm probably just going to use this one. Let me see what this one looks like. Alright guys, so I like this one. So I forgot to mention, all you have to do to preview it is click this button right here and it'll start to preview it. So this again is what it looks like when it will be rendered. So I'm just going to be using this material for this tutorial, but you can really use any material you find that looks good, and there are hundreds of materials in this material pack that I linked down in the description. So just go ahead and find one you like. Now once you do that, go ahead and make sure you're selected on your text layer and go to plugins and go to Nitroblast and click Nitroblast main. Now you're not going to have this in Cinema 4D, you have to download it separately. So again, I will leave a link in the description on how you can get Nitroblast if you don't already have it. Now once you are here, go ahead and change the quality to high and change the piece number to 50, so it'll be 50 pieces for each letter, and go ahead and click fracture. Alright, so once it is done fracturing, you will see that there's a little plus button here. So once you see that, you are done and you don't need this anymore, so you can go ahead and close this out. Now once you have fractured it, you will see this plus button, so what you want to do is you want to click it and make sure it looks like this. So once it looks like this is going to be your front material and this is going to be your back material. So what you want to do is you want to find another material. Now if you did download the pack that I linked in the description, I highly recommend you to use this one. It's called Dirty Concrete right here. So it'll give that like sewn material and it just looks really nice. So I'm just going to be using this one for an example, and you're just going to replace it over the yellow one. And you're going to do that for all of them. So once you have replaced the material, go ahead and select the material, hold shift on your keyboard and click the bottom one. Now this will select all the materials, and go ahead and make sure to check seamless and you are good to go. So once you have done that, go ahead and go to MoGraph and then go to fracture. Now once you see this fracture layer here, go ahead and click the plus button on your text and click the plus button for each letter. Now once you have gotten to the pieces, go ahead and click the top one, scroll down to see the bottom one, hold shift and click the bottom one. Now it will select every piece on your layer here. Now go ahead and drag all these pieces into the fracture layer. And once you do that, it should look like this, so you can go ahead and click this button here and then go to the next letter and repeat the process for every letter you have. So I'm probably going to speed it up, so yeah. Alright, so once you have done that, go ahead and make sure you click on fracture here. Make sure it is at this shade of yellow, because if it's not like this, then it will not work. Just make sure you are selected on the fracture layer here. Now go ahead and click MoGraph, hover over Effector, and you will see all these. Now once you see these, go ahead and click on random and it should look like this. Now once it looks like this is good, this is what you're looking for. Now go ahead and just lower the strength down and it will start to look like it's cracked. Now the lower the number, the lower the effect of the crack. So if you want it like a lot cracked, then go ahead and drag it high. If not, then drag it low. For this example, I'm probably just gonna go with 5 and I'll see how it looks. So again, to pre-render it, go ahead and just click this button and you will see what it looks like once it's rendered. So this is what your text will look like when it is rendered. So I like how this is looking, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. Now another thing you could do that I forgot to mention earlier is that you can go find a nice material down here and drag it onto your atom array layer, and it will change the color of like the outline. So for example, if I found a nice, let's say this material, this bronze material here, you can drag this on to your atom array layer and it'll change the outline to whatever material that is. Now I'm just gonna preview this and see what it looks like. Alright, so this is what the text looks like with this bronze material. Now I don't really like it like this. I really like the white outline, so I'm just gonna delete the material. But you get the idea. You can just go ahead and change the outline if you want, but I really like the outline white, so I'm just gonna leave it at white. So the last thing I usually do when I make my banners is I go to this icon, this cube icon here, and I click on it and I choose landscape. Now once you see this, go ahead and check this button, spherical, go ahead and check the box, and it will do this. Now once you have this huge ball, go ahead and make sure you're on the move tool here, and you'll be able to move it. So drag this blue arrow back so it's behind the text. Once it is behind the text, you are pretty much good. So I'm just gonna do the same thing I did with the text, but with the background here, so it gives like an explosion effect. So I'm just gonna probably use the same material I used before, but I'm just gonna reverse the order, so it'll be like the stone and it'll be red. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you are selected on the landscape layer here, and go to plugins, go to Nitroblast, and go to Nitroblast main. Once you're here, go ahead and check the quality, put the quality at high, and I'm gonna go with 200 pieces for the background here. Now once you have set it at 200 pieces, go ahead and hit fracture, and I'll see you when it's done fracturing. Alright, so once it's done fracturing, it will look like this. Again, you can close this out when it is done. And now what you're gonna do is you are just gonna replace the material, but for me, I am going to switch it. So instead of having the red one here, I'm gonna have the red one here. I'm just gonna switch the order of the materials. So I gotta find that material. I believe I actually don't remember which one I used. I think I used this one. Yeah, I used this one, so I'm just gonna replace this one with the yellow one this time. And I'm gonna go up to the dirty concrete one, and I will replace that one with the blue one. So this is what it will look like once you have done that. Now go ahead, like we did before, and make the fracture layer here. So go to MoGraph and go to fracture. Like we did before, we're just gonna open this up, click the plus until you see the pieces. Once you see the pieces, go ahead and just click the top one, scroll down until you see the bottom one. Hold shift and click the bottom piece, and it'll select everything. And just drag it into your fracture layer here. So once you have done that, go ahead and if it's like this, if it's this color, click on it and it will turn to this color. Once it is this shade of yellow, I guess, then you are good to go. And then you can go ahead and click MoGraph, click Effector, and click Random. Once you do click Random, you'll get this explosion effect. Now if you want the effect stronger, go ahead and just click this and change it to 200%, and it'll get even bigger, and you can just keep changing it. So I'm going to see what this looks like, and I'm going to pre-render it. Alright guys, so this is what it is looking like now. I do like it, however, I want to switch the material, so I'm just going to do that off camera, and I will see you guys when I switch the material. Alright guys, so I have switched the materials around, and this is what it is looking like. So I'm just going to move it back a little bit. I do not like how this piece is looking over the A, so simply I'm just going to select the random layer here and move this back. Alright, so I also have to select the fracture layer and move it back. Alright, so I've moved it back, and now let's see what it looks like. Alright guys, so this is how it's looking with the background moved back. Now I really like it. It is just about done, but again I'm going to go to Atom Array and check the single elements button here before we render it out. So once you are satisfied with everything, go ahead and click this button right here. Make sure this is 1920, this is 1080. Now click the save button right here and name it whatever you want. So for me, I am gonna name this name C40, and make sure it is going to your pictures folder and click save. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and X this out and just click this button and it will start to render. So it will take a little bit to render, so I'm just gonna cut out and I'll see you guys in Photoshop. So once you guys open Photoshop, go ahead and check the link in the description. I will leave a link on this template right here. Pretty much it's just the topping here and then the bottom here, and then I added the CC, which I'll show you guys how to get later. But yeah, I'll also leave a link in the description in the graphics pack I am using down below, so you guys can go get that as well. So once you guys have those few things for Photoshop, go ahead and click File and click Open and open up your Cinema 4D text here. So for me, I just named it name, so I'll go to the ends and it is right here. So once you open up, simply just drag it on to your template here. And yeah, so once it's on here, go ahead and just center it like so. I think that's about good right there. Now I'm just gonna drag it below the CC, so this is what it looks with the CC. Let me center it a little bit. Alright. So another thing I usually like to do is I usually like to duplicate the layer. So just hit Control or Command J and it will duplicate the layer, and then go ahead and go to Filter and go to Filter Gallery. Make sure you're on Stylized and hit Glowing Edges and just click OK. It will make it look like this. So from here, go ahead and change the blending mode to Overlay and change the opacity down to 30 to 40%. I'm gonna set it at 30 and it's looking like this. Really like how it looks. Actually, I think the red's a bit too dark, so I might lower it even more. Make it a little bit lighter here. Yeah, I'm gonna lower it down to 20, and that is looking good in my opinion. So once you are here, go ahead and just close this out. You don't really need it anymore. Now I'm just going to open up the graphics pack. So again, check the link in the description for the graphics pack. And I'm just going to go ahead and open it. Alright, so once you open up the graphics pack, just go ahead and hide this. Now go ahead and click the CC and click CC Boost and go ahead and drag it on to your template here. But for me, I already have it, so I'm just gonna hit delete. And it is right here. Make sure you put it above everything except for this group 1. So the CC is affecting everything below it. And yeah, so I'm just gonna start adding stuff to the template here. So pretty much go ahead and find stuff you do like. So something else I do is I like to get the lightning here, and I just like to drag this over the text and go ahead and move it around and then erase it. That's what I mean. So go ahead and make sure it is above the text and just drag it somewhere over the text, like that, and then go ahead and grab the eraser tool, which is right here, and make sure the hardness is at 0 and the size doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna lower it a little bit and then just clean up everything except for where it is on the line, so about like that. And I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit here so it looks like that. I'm just gonna move over a little bit. I'm gonna use the arrow keys to be more precise, and yeah. And I'm just gonna erase a little bit more right here. And yeah, so I really like how that looks. Maybe move it over a tad more, like that, to where it's right on that line. And then you can just keep doing this on different parts of the text. So if again you hit Control J to duplicate the lightning layer, you can kind of hit Control T, right click, and flip vertical, I believe. and just move it around and put it on the other side, like so. Maybe like right there. And then just move it around to where it lines up. So again, like that or so. And then I'm just gonna hit Shift, select this layer, right click, and merge layers. I'm just gonna lower the opacity a little bit so it's not that obvious. So I'll put it at like 60. And yeah, so that's something you can do. And then I usually add some particles, so let me turn lighting off and add particles. So I really like this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drag this one and put it below everything except for the background, of course. And I'm just gonna actually put this on normal. I'm gonna put this on red, so just move it over and hit Control U, make sure you're selected on the layer, of course, and I'm just gonna move it until it's like a nice red. Alright, so that's looking nice. So I'm just gonna click OK and then hit Control J to duplicate that layer, and then go ahead and just move it to the other side. And then again, I'm just gonna select them both, right click and merge layers, so it's just all one layer, and just find something else to put over it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this over it. So once you find something you want to put on it, just go ahead and click it and then drag it to your template here and just drop it in. Make sure it is above the background here, like the red, and go ahead and click screen it and lower the opacity about 15. So I'm just gonna go ahead and change the color again to like a red or something like that. So I'm just gonna put it at like 150, and then again hit Control J and then bring it to the other side. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I'm going to do. Again, you guys can be creative, add whatever you'd like onto it. This is just what I'm gonna be doing for the example here. And I'm actually going to fix these two text layers because I think it's a little off-centered. I just noticed that. Move it a little bit over more so it's centered more. About there. Maybe a little bit more to the left. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So once you are done with everything, go ahead and click File, click Save As, save it as a PNG, and you can name it whatever you want. So I'm just gonna name it Name Banner, and I'm going to go to pictures, obviously, and set it to PNG, which I did before. Go ahead and click save, click OK, and yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace.